In this lesson, I'll be showing you how to solve literal equations. To do this, I'm going to introduce you to literal equations, show you the steps that I like to follow, and then we're going to work through some examples together. So what are literal equations? They're equations that have at least two variables. So we can say something like x plus y plus x equal to p. So that's an example of a literal equation. And solving the literal equations also requires solving for one of the variables. Now, how are we going to go about that? This is pretty simple. We're going to use the method for solving equations to isolate the variable that is indicated. Let's look at some examples, and that should make this a lot clearer for us. So we want to find what is, it's saying here, solve for x in the equation y equal to 4x. We'll start by writing the equation y equal to 4x. We're trying to isolate x. So the only way to isolate x, and when we say isolate x, it means that the number to the left of x has to be 1, or we call it the coefficient of x has to be 1. So we have 4 right there. So the only way we can get rid of the 4 is to divide it by 4. So we can see that that leaves us with x. Because we divide by 4, on the right hand side, we have to do the same on the left hand side. So here, x is equal to y over 4. That's the solution to this literal equation. Second example, solve for p in the equation 3p plus 5 equal to 6r. So I'm going to first write the equation 3p plus 5 equal to 6r. So we're trying to isolate p. So the first thing we're going to do is to look at, there's a 5 here. We want to make sure that p stands alone on the side, on the left hand side. So I'm going to have to take the 5 out of here. So I'm going to have to subtract 5 from here, and when I do that, I also have to subtract 5 here. So we have 3p is equal to 6r minus 5. But we have a coefficient of 3, so we need to get a coefficient of 1 by dividing by 3 on both sides. So now we have p is equal to 6r minus 5 divided by 3. Another example, solve for r in the equation I equal to 2r plus 4p. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write the equation so that I can have a starting point, 2r plus 4p. I need to get r, so I need to, because I want to isolate r, I need to get the 4p out. So I'm going to move the 4p out of here by subtracting 4p. And then when I subtract 4p on the right hand side, I also have to subtract 4p on the left hand side. So now I'm left with I minus 4p is equal to 2r. Now we need to isolate r by dividing both sides by 2. Remember, when we isolate, we want to make sure that the variable stands on its own. So we have 2r divided by 2 is going to give us r. And then we have I minus 4p over 2. So this is what we're going to get for our solution. And then our final example, solve for m in the equation m plus n equal to 4mn. So what we're going to do here is we're going to move all equations or all terms in the equation with m to the same side of the equation. So we can see here, for example, that we have a m here and we have a mn. So what I'm going to do, first of all, we're going to write our equation m plus n equal to 4mn. I'm going to subtract m from both sides, subtract m here, subtract m here. So we have n is equal to 4mn minus m. Now here we have a common factor. So we can factor out m right here, and then we have 4n minus 1. And the way I get that is I divide 4mn by m, is going to give me 4n. And I divide minus m by m, I get minus 1. So now you can see n is equal to m multiplied by 4n minus 1. And now we need to have m standalone. So whatever is on the same side or is a multiplying factor, we're going to divide m by that value, so which is 4n minus 1. And we divide 4n minus 1. So therefore, m is equal to n over 4n minus 1. And that is the solution for this literal equation.